Oh man. To imagine my first ever retrospect would be about the Blue Blur and friends, particularly the solo man himself, Shadow the Hedgehog. In my years of being in the Sonic fandom, I saw the highs and the lows and the ups and the downs of the franchise. With the new installment of the series, Sonic X Shadow Generation, showing up out of the blue, I would have preferably called it Sonic and Shadow Generation because that would have led to a downward spiral on the Google search. But I digress. I didn't think anyone was prepared to see a remake of Sonic Generations, as there was a constant mod and dedicated fans in the community, always adding to the game that it never felt old. Yet, here we are with today's video. Not about Sonic or his past self or where they're making the continuity. No, we're focusing on the new addition to the package, Shadow Generation, the prideful and self-proclaimed ultimate life form. Now, this isn't Shadow's first go-around having something dedicated to him. We have playing for better or for worse. I didn't expect Sega to give us another chance to play as the Black Hedgehog himself again. Oh, after Sonic Force's lackluster performance in the extra episodes Shadow DLC. The last time we had something fully dedicated to him was his debut in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and his own personal game, Shadow the Hedgehog 2005, especially dedicating an entire year of 2024 to Shadow, or what Sega likes to call the fearless year of Shadow. Man, it feels like they were calling out Nintendo for their year of Luigi. Coincidence? I think not. Sega didn't pull their punches for that year for our following Black Hedgehog, from marketing, promotional material. Hell, we were getting the third movie in the Sonic verse that had every Sonic fan ready to pull up. Don't mess with the Sonic fans, we love ourselves a Black Hedgehog. Take that as you will, so let's discuss the game, shall we? Now, when you start out the game, you are introduced to two stories, Sonic Generation and Shadow Generation. Now, if you're like me, just ordering the deluxe edition for your Sonic games, you get an alternate skin for Shadow, the Terrio skin, which is supposed to be the original concept design for Shadow and the so-called Sonic Doppelganger back in the day. I understand what they were trying to go for, Sonic being good and we had the Terrio skin for being the side of evil, but I'm simply happy with the iconic Shadow design that they have now, because you can't beat something that is perfect. Granted, Shadow looks like he has nothing but PTSD and trauma, and let's be honest, he was asleep for like 50 years in stasis. Let's give that man a break here. For me personally, in biased opinions, I just believe that the colors just feel uninspiring and lack real change. It's like taking a Sonic image redrawn on the internet, painting a randomizer, adding a scar on the face and calling it a day. It just reminds me of Evil Bender, the one with the simple metal goatee. Regardless, I do appreciate that they wanted to give something indirect for Shadow as an alternate skin and being on and off with the fan base. There's worse things out there, and I mean a lot worse. Hey y'all, it's your host Looney Razor here. I am giving a spoiler disclaimer for those who wants to continue on watching the video in full and don't want to get spoiled about the video or the story of the game and how it leads up to the game. There's going to be a little bit of key points there and there, and I'm going to leave a end card for when the spoiler stops, so y'all can just go and watch the video, get my initial take on like gameplay, the music, bosses, and the stages at this point. And if that is the case, I hope to see y'all at the end of the video or in between. Later. Because of the new inclusion of Shadow Generations, Sega gave us a 3-episode short prologue before the events of the game as an advertisement called Sonic X Shadow Generations Start Beginning, giving us a brief moment of Shadow's past on the space colonies, who's having these occasional nightmares recently of the past that's haunting him lately. Can't really let go of the trauma of Shadow. Regardless, the prologue animation was just pure entertainment with set pieces and quick pace action, given with love and care for an average viewer and Sonic fans. The event takes place before Sonic's birthdays and Sonic Gen. The short provided us with explanation on why Shadow wanted to go back to the space colony at the beginning of Shadow Gen, feeling an unease of something from the past coming back to haunt him. Starting off with episode 1 of the prologue titled Maria and Shadow, we are shown a familiar scene of Maria and Shadow running somewhere. In all honesty, I was prepared to see the girl get shot immediately. I know that's kind of messed up to say, but it really is not my fault because Sonic team keeps making brief nods to it every time Shadow is involved in these stories. I'm innocent, I swear. To my surprise, we are given a wholesome moment between Shadow and Maria, looking out towards the Aurora Borealis. We even see Maria suffering from her disease on screen, more so her neural immune deficiency syndrome, which in most Sonic games was never mentioned much unless you took a moment to read from the text manuals or other source materials. I even loved the detail to explain why she was on the Ark in the first place, by using the low gravity in space to keep her disease in remission. It really makes the world of Sonic have a sense of solid continuity. It doesn't make you feel cheated for having this knowledge beforehand, and as a Sonic fan, it means something to me. This does make me wonder if there is a slight chance that he can fix Blaze's story and her confusion inclusion in the Sonic lore, but that is a discussion on another day. We see the two talking about exploring Earth together as they both haven't experienced the wonder of it due to Maria's illness. As the optimistic Maria is hopeful, passionate, and happy about the idea, we see the opposite side there is Shadow, who feels like he doesn't have a purpose or belong on Earth, feeling like he had failed Maria. It was supposed to be this ultimate life form. He couldn't be the cure for Maria's illness. In that moment, Shadow breaks down as Maria comforts her, telling him everything will be okay. They will be together for each other. Hell, this moment really pulls at the heartstring, just witnessing the relationship between the two. It feels like siblings comforting each other in their time of needs. Hell, from what we've seen so far from the old games like Adventure 2, it was tiny exchanges where you get a good idea of the relationship, but never to this degree that captures the beauty of these two characters. Sadly, in their moment of tenderness, they are suddenly attacked by Emerald that is heading towards Gerald's lab. Now, I'm going to explain briefly who Emerald is. He is a Gizoid. They are highly intelligent life forms that can copy and mimic others' abilities. He was introduced as a plot character and antagonist from Sonic Battles on the GBA. If I should cover the game more, let me know and I'll gladly give you my opinion on that as well. As Shadow must leave Maria behind for the slight moment and protect his father and creator from the attack. In that moment, Shadow counters Emerald and have a little showdown, and from the fight it was amazing to witness the hand-to-hand combat. Watching the animation, you can see Emerald picking up on Shadow's fighting style bit by bit, piece by piece, catching up to the Black Hedgehog in his actions. But as Shadow does throw the last punch, everything shatters around him, being left in Gerald's prison chamber, the same one from the Adventure 2 series. As Gerald starts being pulled away from Shadow, and Shadow tries to follow after, but being too late to even catch up, we enter this dark turning point in Shadow's life as we start seeing everything wild out, glitching, the scenery start to change, and we see Gerald screaming almost to meet his final moments in a brief showcase of his execution by firing squad. We get to the moment of the pinnacle point of change of Shadow's life. What made him turn into this villain who hated the humans? It was when Maria's life is being taken away as he calls for her, reaching for her, saying her name. Just from that moment, if you're a Sonic fan and a viewer of the series that dabbles bit and ins and out of it at times, you understand that the series was aimed for an older demographic and was always meant to be somewhat serious with its storytelling. Now, I don't want them to go back to just being dark and edgy. No. I want them to keep the lighthearted content as well. I am just saying I would appreciate this type of content more from the future, and the way the series is progressing, my wish might be coming true. As that scene happens, we have jumped to Shadow in the present day, staring off at the moon, looking towards the Ark as well, thinking that Black Doom has reappeared again, leading to Shadow needing to take action, as the last scene we have is that moon in the background destroyed by the Eclipse Cannon in Adventure 2, showing the events of the game did happen and the irreparable effects lingers forever. And which is kind of funny if you think about how important the moon is to the Earth. The ecosystem is probably thrown off balance and a whole bunch of life has changed. I wonder how's that coming along for the people, which is funny. That is an interesting talking point in Sonic games, where the moon appears in the future games after Adventure 2. We always see it facing towards us, so them acknowledging it is just funny to me. As we jump into episode 2 of the prologue, Finding the Way, it starts off with Maria walking to the area of the Ark, but with a familiar face of a young child running past, calling out Shadow for being a freak and a monster. Almost sounds like a Belmont if you ask me. The kid we see is no other than Commander Abraham, who has got a significant glow up from Shadow the Hedgehog the video game than whatever this nightmare of an abomination. Yet, I digress. As Shadow stands there in a room with a creature staring at it, having a deep-rooted connection with the creature, it was Maria once again, being the light for Shadow, reassuring him, knowing how the falling black hedgehog feels regarding his origins. I just love the aspect and reflection in this frame at that moment. The creature reflecting on Shadows, covering one side of Shadows, showing no matter the situation, there is a connection that will always be a part of him, which is a beautiful moment of just acknowledging that his alien origin will always be tied to him. Hell, you can feel more of a flourishing relationship of Shadow and Maria, bringing him out of that self-guilt and just hatred for himself and his well-being, reminding him that no matter what, he is still himself and won't be defined by his character as a alien but more so his heart that cares for others, which is just beautiful, a showcase. No matter what you see in the media, Shadow always have the good side to him. He just has a hard time showing it through his upbringing. Afterwards, we come back to the present time where Shadow is raiding Eggman's hidden base, the same one from Sonic Adventure 2, as he is in search of a way to get to the space colony. Because you remember previously how Sonic and his friends got up there was using the rocket that was there in the first place. But I would like to also give mention to the writer who is giving us this consistent story pacing, and even the fact that the story is such a bigger expansion. Ian Flynn. He has been a big part of the Sonic community since from the Archies to even the IDW comics. He plays such a large part with the great character writing and making the characters regain missing traits that feels like they've been lost so long in Sonic media, especially through the 2010s, as Ian has started recently working close ties with Sonic Team and developing the stories to modern Sonic games, notably Sonic Frontiers. If you feel interested in me talking more about the Sonic universe from the comic side of things, I'm willing to do so. If intention ever feel interesting enough for y'all, just tell me in the comments. Regardless, I do hope Ian continues to do more and provides entertaining insights and new ideas for the future of Sonic. So back to the episode, we see Shadow has encountered the Samurai Egg Pawns, who last appeared in Sonic colors. Man, with the way Shadow is going through these poor guys, you would think they owe him money. There's no reason for all this disrespect to take care of a simple pawn. I guess the Shadow was just having a bad day. If you know, you know. As the fight continues, we have Rouge and Omega, who are also here for their own reason to collect some information for Gun. As Shadow shares about his reason for finding a ship to get to the space colony with Rouge, telling him that there isn't one and this base is only a supply depot. Along in the midst of finding their way to the base, they are blocked by the Eggbreaker, another enemy from Shadow the Hedgehog. Before they even fight it, I would like to say, I just love Omega at this moment, calling dibs on destroying the Eggbreaker. I find that just oddly wholesome for a robot, with hate for his creator, and want to see nothing for it to burn. Weird thing to say, I know, but he's like a cutie patootie. Can you fault me for that? Nah. Continue on. Here we can see how well Team Dark works together, showing their strong chemistry and long friendship that do not show much in the media often enough unless you have played Heroes or 06. Hell, even their fighting styles very diverse, like Omega's gun blaze action to Rouge's flexibility and acrobatics combat to Shadow's aggressive style of fighting. As he easily destroys it, Rouge offers Shadow to take him to a ship that can travel to the space colony, only if he promised to go to Sonic's birthday party, connecting it with Sonic Gen. On with a sigh in response, which Rouge takes as a yes. I just love this. It really shows that Rouge and Shadow's friendship in a way to even so much Rouge's character able to read Shadow as a person and get through him to break out of his comfort and join inadvertently against his wishes. Which leads into episode 3. To the arc, as now we find Team Dark raiding the gun base. We will see an interesting choice of dialogue that really escalates character growth. Gun is not my enemy tonight, he's just an obstacle in my way. And I gotta say, that's kinda tough. That's kinda hard, not gonna lie, Shadow. Keep going at it. Regardless, I need to give props for the studio who has worked and need their well-deserved credit. Studio Gagek. Because they have done so well with the action scene, I lost myself when the motion and smooth transition of raiding of the base, Omega's having his rattling his Gatling gun arm, to the smooth slide across the ground. We even witnessed Shadow's action of using his chaos control and his snap, using it to a full advantage, readjusting the missile to different directions and using it against the Gunnians, even having some angst towards the force. He still saved one of the soldier by ejecting from the cockpit, because we still want to show him in a good light, and he's just not a hard ass. Regardless, as the fight comes to a conclusion, Shadow gets inside the ship, ready to launch off into the space colony. In that brief moment, Shadow was ready to be taken off the map by a SWAT of Gunnians, ready to gun down the ship. As Rouge tries to cancel it off, just in that brief moment, we see a familiar face. It's Commander Abraham, who has called off the attack to allow Shadow to fly off toward the space colony, speaking to Rouge and calling them out for their millions of dollars government resource. And fair, but yet Rouge slyly replies that no one could talk to Shadows down, only one individual, who was Maria. But I find it odd because in past games, Rouge always was there for Shadow in his lonely times to his moment of confusion and loss, especially during the events of Heroes, helping him in some regards of finding himself to be the real one, or even the events of 06, where Shadow would have been put down regardless, but she's the only one to really stay well in the bitter end. Hell, even the destroyed future. Shifting to Shadow position, we see him look at the space colony with a lot of thoughts going on in his head, going back to his origins, his home, as glimpses of the possible life for Maria flash through his head, with grim reminder that this life isn't possible, as he has to focus on what needed to be done, as the song plays Without You in the background, which is performed by Cassie Lee Williams. If you don't know who she is, her most known performance is from Ruby soundtracks, and her talents working with Rooster Teeth, as that concludes the prologue of Dark Beginnings. So, with the prologue explained to the game, we now here on the space colony, with Shadow continuing to have an uneasy feeling and being goaded in along with the intel from Gunn, detecting a signature that was happening on the spaceship. Taking notice of a weird distortion not so far off, Shadow ventures onward as we start to head into the first level of the game, the Space Colony Arc, Act 1. As you play along, we see a familiar and ultimate deadbeat follower of Shadow, Black Doom, who makes a return from Shadow the Hedgehog, along with his major erection and addiction to Radical Highway. Every time he has shown up, he throws you into it, well, second thought, for bits and pieces of the first act of the level. Word that it is not Metropolis from Shadow the Hedgehog. You would think, based on the fact that it's Black's Doom canonical introduction, it would only be by principle. The same game you have to play many times just to get every ending in the game. Crazy, but that's just me though. Which will be discussed on another day because, oh man, there is problems. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed that we just didn't get an inclusion, or many inclusions, with the Black Arms, or Black Doom in general, just for the fact that Shadow has close ties with them after all, and shares genes with these aliens. Hell, we're playing the game again. I realized there wasn't much of a representation of Shadow the Hedgehog aside from the constant art, or what could be found around the white space. I feel like when you know that Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces and even Winter Chaos Island from Frontiers are here, kinda odd since he wasn't part of Frontiers at any point unless there was a secret behind the scenes and development for his appearance somewhere. Regardless, after his encounter with Black Doom, he has a run-in with the Time Eater from Sonic's story that sucks him up into the Time Rift, and now they are in the white space. But don't worry, he is accompanied by others like Omega and Big the Cat. While going through the stages, Shadow sees a glimpse of Maria and Gerald shocking the Hedgehog, who is running in the white space as well, which makes him the haste towards their direction in the game, traveling to various areas. Not only with Black Doom in the mix, you feel a everlasting presence watching your progress with this weird demonic angel orb in the sky. Guess someone was feeling a bit Kirby inspired playing through the game. Shadow starts unlocking more powers given to him from these Doom Easter eggs. They're never really explaining what they are fully, so let's go with that, shall we? Shadow starts unlocking the Doom Spheres for his Chaos Spheres, Doom Blast, and Doom Surf. And though he could just skate on the water with his surfer shoes, weird, and the Doom War turned him into a alien parasite, and lastly the Doom Wings. As the game progressed, we learned that due to Shadow's growing in strength by the influence of Black Doom, so does Black Doom due to their shared DNA between the two. Black Doom plans on taking control of Shadow and using him to take over the world. Unfortunately for Black Doom, we're the MC of the story. We take the fight to Black Doom, defeating him once more using the power bestowed upon Shadow. We watch him meet his end from the explosion like a Power Ranger villain of the next week. All hell Shadow. And knowing this type of cheese, I would say a good old karate chop would have done better. Now, due to the defeat of Black Doom, the white states started falling apart, leaving his influence to be lost to the time and space, along with Maria and Gerald being sent back to their proper place and time. As Shadow wanted to fix the problem before they could be sent away, Maria comforts him one last time, promising that they will be together regardless of what happens, which you know is a very poetic in a way, leading to Shadow saying goodbye to Maria and Gerald in one last moment. Turn away with a tear in his eye, he heads back to what I guess is his proper time and watch Sonic get beat around to feel better about the situation. If you know, you know. It's kind of dark realizing that their death is looming ever so close by death via firing squad, because yikes, that's messed up, Sonic Team. But the dark humor as well. Man, I don't even know how to conclude that. Now, you notice throughout the plot summary, I haven't even talked about Maria and Gerald, the two main influence of Shadow's character, the foundation of Shadow's character, because they aren't part of the story much except for their brief reunion after being saved from the Black Arm mobs. All afterwards, they got pushed into the background at the initial cutscene, and so we talk dialogue with Shadow on the occasion while stopping by and chatting. Mind you, they aren't just replicas, clones, or whatever, it's the real deal. Granted, it was delicious lore and fruitful text within the game sprinkled around in the game, unless you happen to get the journal of Gerald's from the physical edition of the game, and I wanted to play the game early. Yet from my research on the internet, there happens to be other members of the Robotnik bloodline and other keynotes that just expands on the Sonic universe, even further beyond. So, does that mean we will get more lore on Eggman, another game that we can control him, ordering the Batmans around, or just seeing such funny dialogues and shenanigans? I'll endure some money for that if the idea ever comes up, Sonic Team. Hell, look at Capcom, they literally made a Tri-Bond game that had that same gimmick. No, we don't even get that, which feels like we will rob the character's growth for these three of them, and I would have wanted that. Hell, just a brief moment of playing together, or even a simple breakdance to break the rising tension. Come on, Shadow. We know you love being at fiestas and the Latinas. Don't hide it from us. We know. Now, let's get into the game segment, shall we? Well, my personal adventure through Shadow Gen was amazing and a grand time. Everything felt so natural and felt just right at home, as I was using the standard controller used from the Sonic Frontiers control scheme, having the boost on the R2 instead of the classic circle button. I feel like people who had been playing Sonic Gen for years would feel right at home through my experience of playing the Sonic Boost games. This is the best control experience of any boost mechanics. Never felt like I was stuck on certain objects or obstacles, or felt my control for Shadow tightened and restricted as my jumps accounted for through multiple hours of playtime. Now, granted, there was sometimes hiccups when I was due to play the game, especially when it does come to certain jumps, but it did feel weighted down at times, and I think that was just because of certain areas I was in. Granted, maybe because of my constant mess-up was trying to rush things or collect the medallions in stages. Along in the game, you have the control of Shadow's Chaos Control. The moment it is used, he stops time for 5 seconds, freezing everything along the way, along with the in-game timer, which helps clear those delicious S-ranks. And not only that, it's simply other ways to get around the map. You encounter these green clouds that are in the air, which will throw Shadow through, get him through spots in areas that are not possibly reached. So, with that, I do find that very fun in that aspect. Now, as I mentioned in the story summary, if you were paying attention or decided to watch that, I talked about Shadow unlocking new abilities called his Doom powers, essentially. The Doom Spears, earlier in the video, I made nod to that. saying that it basically gives him like a multi-lock-on feature with his Chaos Spirits to throw at enemies like a spread shot, giving him rage versatility. The Doom Blast, this one was a little bit underwhelming in the game as it was really used mostly on the Black Art enemies in areas to get you across the maps or stages on occasionally, or just to knock out a whole entire group of enemies out the way, as Shadow will do a flurry of assaults, kicking them wherever the direction they're aimed towards, which in the hindsight it is kind of funny to see them go blasting off like a Team Rocket grunt. The next ability is the Dune Surf. The Dune Surf is one of those abilities that is very questionable. It's one of those you know is there but never pay too much attention until you kind of remember, oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Even though he could just skate on the water with his hover shoes, because there is times in games where we see him run across water with it, or hell, even in the trailer of the Sonic 3 movies, you see him literally skating across it. But I won't disguise. Now, gameplay wise, it is easy to control the shadow across the surface of it. Obviously, when you press the L1 or R1, you do a little spin slide that can destroy objects in the way. I will say this is one of a bit janky on side as time, because it will restrict your movement in a certain area and you will get locked in phase in a straight line. I find the movement will lock me in place and also stop me in my direction. So maybe another option would be nice of a freeform control, maybe like the Resident Evil quick turn. The next one is the Doom Morph, where each Shadow turns into a little Inkling. Yes, I'm gonna call that. It's Doom Inkling. Because when Shadow gets across these purple balls in the air or on the ground, across these purple goop, Shadow will turn into that. And you are basically playing Splatoon. And I feel like somebody in the development team was feeling kinda playing Inkling or Splatoon in that moment, just to get their minds off of stuff. You know, one thing or another, I feel like maybe Shadow's messing with one more thing to complete the whole entire Splatoon costume. And then lastly, the Doom Wing, and the last of Shadow's unlocked powers, his own exclusive super form, if you would like to compare it to Super Sonic, as this will now allow Shadow to use his ability to fly across the stages and glide through at high speed, and it will also drain down the ring count by the second. Now, this is an ability that you will see in the beginning of the game, and honestly, I thought that was something we were just going to just have on site and unlock. But to my surprise, no, you get this literally at the high end, the final moments of the game, and your final bout with Black Doom. So, it was alright. Could have been better. No hate to it, and I hope in future inclusions of games with Shadow we get to use this more. Now, I would like to talk about the stages of Shadow Gen. Now, I had a highs and lows with the stages, and I'm gonna give you a take of all of them, shall we? So the first stage of the game, Space Colony, the Sonic game from Adventure 2. Honestly, they were alright and fun. This one, it gives you a first impression of what you're gonna go through. As simply as it doesn't bring disappointment, but it lets you get accustomed to your controls, abilities, the ones that Shadow would commonly be using throughout your playthrough. Not only that, your first encounter of the nightmare of Radical Highway by our truly Black Doom. It will never go away. Even going to the stage, you are given a great reminder of the janky Space 2 that no matter what, you will be cursed and might be your downfall. Always coming back to haunt me, huh? The next stage, Rail Canyon. This stage for Sonic Heroes is probably my least favorite stage of the game, as no matter what I did in particular to enjoy it, it really felt automatic. Didn't really offer much of options or diversity on its routes, unless the occasional points where you use your chaos control to stop the enemies from destroying certain rails or certain tracks so you can get to other areas. But you know what I would think that have most benefited these stage? If you have replaced this with Egg Fleet from Sonic Heroes. And with that stage, with current graphics and modern generation controls, I feel like that stage would be a chef's kiss in all honesty. Just a little opinion of mine. Now, I don't think anybody will agree with that, but I say that's why I'll have my little hot take on that. This is probably my least favorite out the Sonic Shadow Gen stages. Now, the next stage we go to Kingdom Valley. Now, To surprise me, out of all the 06 stages that have been remade, brought back in future iterations of mods, communities, this stage right here felt perfect. Honestly, I had so much fun going through this stage as there were so many options and routes to take on at this level. It never felt slow or boring by a long shot, especially with the graphic update. I felt memorized by the scenery at every corner and splashes of water that we get to enjoy. And I feel like through my replay of the stage, I never noticed my first time around that they redid the mock speed section for just a little bit at the end of Act 1. It was never a fever dream. Now I would say this is where the Doom Morph shows its problems. Not my fault. The Doom Surf shows its problem through the stage. It will mostly stop your control completely and will lock you into a straight direction, and the spin maneuver will flop immediately as you will get cornered. I can't tell if that's just a me thing or a skill issue. Maybe both. I don't know. Leave me alone. Next stage of the package, Sunset Height for Sonic Forces. Oh man, who would have thought upgrading a level from a bare bone game to an actual level, because Sunset now extends past the 4-minute mark compared to the Sonic Forces Sunset Heights at a total of probably a minute or a minute 30 seconds. Honestly, I have thought this would leave Forces levels behind the Dark Age of Sonic games. Now, does it hold on? Yes. And no, just a little bit. I did have fun and actually remembered the level this time around. Just that, plus to his credit, hell, I even said give it a little bit of a cinematic on stage to make it impactful. It does bring into a question if it's possible that we can redo Sonic. Let me stop. That game is never getting another chance. Look what they did to Infinite. They ain't bringing his ass back. Let's be honest here. To the next stage, Chaos Island. To my surprise, to see a Frontier stage be implemented so early into another Sonic game, because if I remember, the game didn't come out like 2 to 3 years ago, unless they have assets already for the game on the side and they were like, fuck it, we'll just bring it because we're lazy with our choices. Unless they really wanted to be clever and add it in, because the time your influence messing the timeline of events. One thing about the stage, it would promote using the Doom Morph through the stage, and hope you have a good understanding of it, because you will fail to get going or fall to your death. Other than that, I thought the stage was fine. I have no problems with it in all honesty. And the last stage to boot, Radical Highway from SA2. The start of it all for Shadow, I would say I would be excited, but it was starting us firsthand and has never given us a break from it, and not to even get a breathing room because of Black Doom tossing us into the stage every first act of the other level. It overstays its welcome and brings me nothing more but a bittersweet welcome. Now, it's fun gameplay wise, and the slight nostalgia of this level from Adventure 2 does draw a smile on my face. Regardless, this level has it all: platforming to keep a good pace of speed, and will taste your skills in the final stretch. I think I can say that Black Doom won the mental game, because every time I close my eyes, I see that damn Radical Highway. When will it stop? It has nothing but a constant loop in my head. Know what? Maybe it's a good thing we put into Black Doom, as no one can be hurt no more. If you want my concluding feelings of what stage I would have chosen over some stages, or a bit more added into it, one, I will replace earlier, like I said, Railcade with Egg Fleet from Heroes. Maybe replace Radical Highway with an actual Shadow the Hedgehog level. Maybe the Black Comet to sell his score with Black Doom and his Black Arm units to show the growing influence he was having with White Space. But that was just me. Granted, they could have added Radical Highway as another level in the game to extend the playtime, honestly. Before I forget to mention, along with the game with Shadow Gen, there was a movie tie-in DLC for the game, which takes you to Tokyo. It's a fun little map. It's not too much. It's just a fun little incorporation for the movie tie-in, and you get to hear Keanu Reeves more as Shadow the Hedgehog. So that was fun and neat. Nothing bad about the stage. It was cinematic, lovely, and it was just a fun little tie-in. Nothing much to say add on to that. Now the music, I feel ashamed that I never mentioned much about the music in Shadow Generation. Out of all the new music in the game, it was the least listened to music from my year as a Sonic fan. I really sat back and listened to the OST back and forth through Spotify. Hell, it feels like they keep adding EDM genres with a mixture of rock in the stages. Never make a good combination. At times, I do credit to the music as I do enjoy the daily listen to both genres. It never felt out of place, but I feel it's needed more love out of the music. I enjoyed the Sunset Hype remix edition, so hey, look, Sonic Forces do get a bit of praise of me somehow. So there's that. Hell, they even brought back some of the older music from older games as I haven't discussed the bosses, which is a good segue to start. Now, to discuss the bosses in Shadow Gen, there are a total of 4 bosses: the Bio Lizard, Metal Overlord, Mephiles, and Black Doom. I'm gonna go into each one from the ones I thought was great to the ones too that weren't all so great. Starting from the one that I didn't think was all that much, the Bio Lizard. First come, first serve. He's back. You know, same thing, same deal, dally. His tail sweeps at you, you run away from him, you chase and whatnot. Same dilly dally, but this time he has a little bit more moves this time around. The Bio Lizard comes back packing with some purple Orbeez, and now with that, Shadow kind of just takes his time to just hit him and hit him in his core. Nothing new, nothing grand. Very easy, very simple. He's from Sonic Adventure 2, so I didn't think much, but hey, at least we get some cool fancy cutscenes in between which the boss fights. So that's pretty nice and cool when you think about it. To the next one, Metal Overlord. I didn't take too much from it, and it's still funny to see how power crept this abomination got in. Poor Metal Sonic can't catch a break, because not only did this happen, we have Sonic fighting Metal Overlord in base form, just speeding through and outpacing the thing. Now we got Shadow with his new powers of the Doom powers and having Chaos Control. Metal Overlord just didn't stand a chance, so he gets swiped under the rug. Hey, but hey, at least we got the Crush 40 playing in the background, so that's pretty nice if I must say so myself. Poor Metal Overlord. I wanted to give him much more, but in reality, you're just surfing with the Doom War on the water and knocking things back at him, knocking him out, and doing combos on him. Pretty much, that's it, that's all. The next boss fight, surprisingly second, is Black Doom, which I didn't take too much time to talk about because, in all honesty, he was just a simple final boss. You chase him down, you fight him off, he starts yapping, doing whatever he likes to do most, and I didn't really take too much consideration of how much of a danger he was in reality. So, seeing him get knocked out so easily and taken out by Shadow, and or forgot to mention he has a Neo Black Doom. Whoops, forgot about that in all honesty, but what can you do? Surprisingly, my favorite inclusion was Mephiles. Mephiles makes his return after the events of Sonic 06. Yes, the same Mephiles that kinda got wiped out from the timeline, or more so, existence. And dude, because of the time eater effect of having everything messing with time from the present, past, future, and I guess also just different timelines, Mephiles is brought back. And in regards, I feel bad for him, because literally, the fact that he says he wants to exist and not just be long and voided really emphasizes that he is a character in the Sonic mythos that won't never be mentioned or just long forgotten, that nobody even remembers after the events of 06, as he had deleted him off the timeline. And not only that, his boss fight was actually pretty entertaining just from the interactions alone. And this one I would consider probably my favorite of the boss fight and rival fights, if you want to consider that, because I didn't mention in the summary, Shadow had an encounter with Sonic and friends. More so Sonic, and I thought we were gonna have a rival fight, but it was just turned into a cutscene, so I was pretty disappointed about that. But hey, what can you do? But with my last thoughts and opinions about this game, I feel like you should go buy Sonic X Shadow Generations. It is well cost of the $60 remission and the price point, and I have no problems with it. If you love Sonic, you love Shadow, I really do feel like you should get this game and spend your money on it. And I really do hope more in the future of upcoming Sonic games that we get a little more influence and details and be able to play more of the Sonic cast again. And I think Sega's closely leaning into that. Not only that are they leaning into it, I feel like with the implements of what Ian Flynn is doing for the franchise, slowly introducing the characters back again and giving them their own roles and their unique diversity, I think we are looking into a brighter point for the Sonic franchise as a whole. Now, I thank y'all for stopping by and coming to watch this video and my first ever retrospect. I know it's gonna be all around and I'm still working on it, but hey, nobody ain't perfect in regards of starting off their first video of something they wanted to do. And I've been on and off with this project for a while now, and I kind of been having a hard time just due to all the inconvenience of life and work, maintaining a life habits, and trying to balance everything out. So if you actually are to the point of stopping by of this video, thank you, and I appreciate. If you want some more future videos like this in the future, please comment it, tell me, like and subscribe, share with a friend or a buddy if you like. If you think I can actually improve, give me your inputs, your general thoughts. If so, hell, tell me what you like about Shadow Generations or what you dislike about it. Hell, I can't wait to even read the comments and actually reply to those who actually care. And I hope everyone has a good time. And I am your host, Looney Razor, signing off. And y'all all have a damn good one. Thank you.